Okay, I'm going to do the f of x. What color did I use earlier? Was it blue? Okay, and I'm going to change the color. M is 2 and B is -5. Do you guys agree? Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 2 over 1. Okay. Everybody have it? And the next one is what? Carrie, can you give it to me for the M and the B? -1 over 3. And B is 2. And we said, did I do it right that time? Up 2. And then down 1 over 1, 2, 3. And there's the point of intersection there. Down 1 over 1, 2, 3. And I mentioned earlier, is that equivalent to going up 1 and the other direction 3? All right. Max, what's the solution? Three, 1. Everybody agree with him? Why is there only one solution here, not two, like I showed you on the paper earlier? Because they only cross one. Linear graphs will only intersect in one spot unless they are parallel or the same line. Okay, are we good? How do we solve it algebraically? We do exactly what it says right here. We set the two functions equal to each other. So let's do that. What is f of x? 2x minus 5 equals -1/3 x plus 2. Please stop the talking. This is the only one we have on this assignment that has a fraction in it. Does anybody remember from last year how to clear a fractional equation? And you did learn it before. How to clear a fractional equation. You multiply everything by what, Abraham? The common denominator. In this case, there's only one, so 3. He's right. Multiply everything by 3. If there's an equal sign, as long as I do it to both sides, I'm good. What's 3 times 2x? Minus 5 times 3 equals what? The whole reason we do this is what's going to happen here with those two 3's. They're going to cross each other out, leaving behind -1x. Do you guys agree? Or if you wanted to, could you put -3x over 3 and it still reduces to -x? Yes, plus what? All right, get the x's to one side. What shall we do first? Add the x. What's 6x plus 1x? 7x minus 15 equals 6. What's the next step? Thank you. Add the 15. And what do I get? 7x equals what? Okay, and the last step? Divide by 7. And what's 21 divided by 7? And does that make sense? Okay, now I don't have just x is 3. I have x is 3 and y is what? It's an ordered pair. How do I get the y value if all I know is the x value? What is that? Plug 3 in. I have two functions. Does it matter which one I use? Pick one. Do you guys want to use the f or the g? F. So f of x equals 2 times blank minus 5. What do I put in the blank? The 3, which means I should change that to 3, but I don't want to confuse anybody. I'm just going to change it to y. Y equals 6 minus 5. What does y equal? So ordered pair is 3, 1. Is that correct? Yes or no? Okay, so we solved it algebraically and then graphically. Graphically and algebraically, and we get the same answer either way. Yes. All right, next one is number 2. Is f of x also a linear graph? Yes or no? Right there, 2x squared plus 1. Is that a linear graph, yes or no? 2x squared, linear or quadratic? Quadratic. What about g of x, linear or quadratic? What is it? Linear. Okay, I'm going to graph the linear one first, just because it's easier. What is m and what is b? M is negative 2 over 1 and b is 5. So up 5, down 5, right 2, left 2. What do I do first? Up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what's the slope? Down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. Now, down 2, right 1 is equivalent to going up 2 over 1. So down 2, right 1 would be equivalent to up 2, left 1. Do you agree? All right, we put all the dots that we can because we want to be exact. Now, because I'm looking at points of intersection, would it be okay to just draw a rough sketch of the parabola, or should I make a T-chart? I'm going to repeat the question. Because we're looking for exact points of intersection, would it be okay to do a rough chart, or should I make a T-chart? T-chart. First thing, find your vertex. This is vertex form. It can be considered vertex form. Is there anything in the parentheses where it tells you to move right and left? So how far right and left are you moving? 0. The one there tells me to move up 1 or down 1? Up 1. Do you guys see that? And instead of y, I'm going to put f of x here just so I know that I'm using the f of x formula, not the g of x. Okay, so let's test it. Plug in 0. 0 squared. Is that 0? Times 2, is it still 0? Plus 1 is 1. Did we get the vertex correct at 0, 1? Yes? All right. Now what we have to do is start picking points to the right and points to the left. What point is to, if that x is 0, give me one value to the right of 0. Give me a value to the right of 0, guys. Anybody. One level, 1 unit over would be 1. Plug 1 in. What's 1 squared? 1 squared is 1 times 2 plus 1, 3. So over 1, up 1, 2, 3. Did we just find at least one point of intersection? Yes. Okay. Now come back to the 0 because that was the vertex. What's 1 point over to the left? Negative 1. Because of symmetry, what do you think it's going to come out to be? Because of symmetry, what y value do you think we're going to get? 3. Let's test it. What's negative 1 squared? That's negative 1 times negative 1. 1 times 2 plus 1. Did we also get 3? So from the origin, left 1, up 1, 2, 3. Is that point right there a point of intersection? That one. Okay, this one was. How about this other one? No. Okay, what do we do next? I need another point. One on the right, another one on the left. So from 0, I went over 1. What do I get when I go over 2? Plug it in. 2 squared. 2 squared. 4 times 2 plus 1, 9. So go over 2, up 9. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that a point of intersection or nowhere close? This one right here, is that on the red line? The magenta line? No. Okay, so we went 2 to the right. What do we get when we go 2 to the left? Negative 2 what? Now, who told me 9? Okay, did you do the work or you just figured it in your head? Because of symmetry? He is correct. Let's try it. Is negative 2 times negative 2 still positive 4? Times 2 is positive 8, plus 1 is 9. Yes or no? Could he use the fact that we have symmetry here to know it's on the other side? Is that a point of intersection? Yes or no? Okay, what is that point? Negative 2 what? It's right there. Negative 2, 9. And what was this one right here? That one right there was what? 1, 3. So did we just solve it graphically and find the points of intersection? Yes. Okay, what do we have to do now? Solve it what? Algebraically. Okay. Because I'm going to try to use up or get as much space as I can, I'm going to start solving over here. I'm going to set these two equal. It doesn't matter which one you write first. I typically like to write the one that's squared first. 2x squared plus 1 equals negative 2x plus 5. 2x squared plus 1 equals negative 2x plus 5. And I need to solve that. Is this a quadratic, meaning is there a square in the problem, yes or no? Okay, which means I want to get x by itself or everything to one side and equal to 0. So I want to get x by, I have multiple x's though. So do I need to get everything over to one side to equal to 0? So we can try to do what? Starts with an F. Factor. And if we can't, then we go through our other steps. All right, so should I add or subtract the 2x? When I add the 2x, does it have a like term on this side? Where's it going to go though? Beginning, middle, or end? Where?
Middle.
Okay, middle. All right, 2x squared plus 2x plus 1. Do you guys agree with that? This is gone. All right, what's my next step? I want to get it equal to 0. What do I subtract? Minus 5, good. So 2x squared plus 2x, what? Minus 4. And I forgot to ask, when I move this over, make sure it's in with its like term. Did I line it up correctly with its like term? Okay. What do we try to do when we're solving these? What's the first method we should use? What is that? GCF factoring? Try to factor first. Is there a GCF? Yes or no? Okay. Pause before you do GCF. For those of you that are going to do the GCF, what is it? 2. Before you do it, does anybody remember the shortcut that I've given you? Divide everything by 2. Now, if you forget that and you do GCF and then factor, you're still going to get the same answer. Yes. Some of you try the GCF and see if it works. I'm going to go ahead and do the divide since I've been trying to get you guys to see that shortcut. As long as a number divides into all, they all have a common factor, we can divide it all. X squared plus x minus 2 equals 0. And now try to double bubble. Faith, can you give it to me once you have it factored? Okay, let's test it. Plus 1 and minus 2. Do we all agree with her that that multiplies to negative 2? Do we have to switch signs? How can we tell? Because this is going to give me positive 1 and negative 2. And this is positive. So minus 1. So she said flip the signs. They actually both said flip the signs. Okay, so we solve each one. And if you can do this step in your head, do you have to show this step? No. Add your 1, subtract your 2. What are your 2x values? 1 and what? Is it okay if I say, oh, my answer is 1 comma negative 2 like that?
No.
No. Does that look like anything I have over here? No. And not only that, I have 2 solutions over here, and this one's only 1. That is not correct. We never put parentheses around our x solutions. Who can tell me how I end up with ordered pairs when all I have right now is x equals positive 1 and negative 2? Yes? Plug in the x's. Does it matter which function we use? Do you guys want to use the f of x function or the g of x function, and it does not matter? G of x, if any of you want to try the f, go for it. Before I do, did anybody do GCF earlier? No one did? Okay. I'm going to choose G of x. Some of you try f of x just to see if it works. Okay. What do we want to plug in first? And it does not matter. Shall we do x equals 1? Okay. I'm using, did you guys say f of x? No, g of x. G of x equals negative 2 parentheses plus 5. What did we just say we're going to plug in for x? What is it? 1. Negative 2 times 1. Negative 2 plus 5. What does that equal? 5 minus 2 is 3. So would I say 1 comma 3, yes or no? Yes? And was that one of the solutions? Did it work out? Yes. All right, I'm going to do the next one. Noah, Soto, what's the next number we're going to plug in? I don't have a negative 1. I have a positive 1 and a negative 2. I just used the one negative 2. And can we still use the same function? G of x equals negative 2 blank plus 5. What do I plug in? Noah just told us to plug in a what? And what's negative 2 times negative 2? Positive 4 plus 5 is what? Equals what? 9. So that's negative 2 comma 9. Is that the other solution that I had up here? So I have 1 comma 3, negative 2 comma 9. Did I end up with the same set of answers when I graphed? Yes or no? Yes? All right. Questions? All right. I'm going to have you guys do these two on your own a little bit later. Let's flip over to the back side. And here it says find all values of x for which f of x equals g of x. Solve algebraically. Are we having to graph here? Yes or no? We do not have to graph. It just says solve algebraically. Now look at the difference. This over here said find all the solutions. The solutions were like here, negative 2, 9, and 1, 3. There were 2 of them. This one here just says solve for what? Find all values of x. So once I find x, do I have to plug them back in? No, you can. It's not necessary. Okay. I set them equal. I like the x squared function to come first, but that's Rebecca, can you tell me if I'm trying to get it to equal 0, what are we going to do first? Add the 7. And when we add the 7, Rebecca, can you tell me where its like term is? And it does have one over here. Good job. Does everyone agree with her? All right. X squared minus 4x, what is that? Plus 2? Equals negative x. Miranda, can you give me the next step? You may have done it different, but from just looking here, if I want to get it equal to 0,
move the x over. Sorry.
move the x over. It's okay. And where's its like term? The 4x?
Yeah.
Okay. X squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0. Did anybody move the x first and the 7 second? And if so, did you get the same equation? Is anybody moving it all over at one time? Same equation at the end? Yes? Okay. All right. What do we try to do here if possible? No one? Factor. And If you don't like factoring, you could use quadratic. I wouldn't complete the square. You could, but I wouldn't suggest it. All right, anybody have the numbers? 1 and 2, are they same signs, different signs? And are they both plus or both minus? So he says x minus 1, x minus 2. Do you guys agree with him? Yes? All right, solve them. X minus 1 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0. What are my two solutions for x? 1, 2. Do I put parentheses around them?
No.
No. If I wanted to put ordered pairs, it's not 1, 0, 2, 0. You'd have to plug in the 1, plug in the 2, and get two separate ordered pairs. Are we good? Alrighty. I am going to do one more with you and then let you guys work. I'm going to do number 6. Set them equal to each other. And again, I am going to put the x squared first. Yes. Cesar, what would you move first? And there's more, there's more than one right answer. What would you want to move first, the 7x or the 2? The 2? Would you add it or subtract it to the other side? So minus 2, minus 2. What ends up happening on both sides? Do they both cross out? And that's okay. X squared equals 7x. I still have to get it equal to 0. So what am I going to subtract to the other side? Now, when I minus 7x, does 7x have a like term over here? No, I'm just going to put it out here so that they're not lining up. Know, though, that they are not like terms. And when I write it, what goes first, the x squared or the negative 7x? X squared. So do I end up with x squared minus 7x equals 0? Yes? Yes? Please, kids always freak out like, oh, I did something wrong. No, it is okay. This is still a quadratic. C is 0, and that's okay. Now, technically, if you wanted to use quadratic at this time, or even complete the square, you could. But it is factorable. Kids always freak out. I don't see the third term. There's no double bubble. I don't know what to do. It's not a double bubble factoring. Does anybody remember the very first factoring method we learned? You learned it back in middle school, actually. It starts with a G. Greatest common factor. What is, and it's not a number, it's a variable. What is my greatest common factor? Leaving behind x minus what? So is it factorable? Is x times x x squared and x times negative 7 the minus 7x? Yes or no? Now, it's been a while, but we've done a few of these. This is one factor. This is the other factor. So I end up with x equals 0 and x minus 7 equals 0. This one's already done. There's nothing to do on this one, the x equals 0. The other one, you do have to add the 7 to both sides and get a solution. What are my two x values? 7 and 0? With parentheses or no parentheses? No parentheses. All right, I want you guys right now on your own to do number 9. Yeah, number 9. I want you guys right now on your own to do number 9. Gentlemen, I want you guys to work this out. Has anybody got it equal to 0? Is it a double bubble trinomial type factoring or a GCF type factoring? Only one person answered. The rest of you guys agree with him? Is it GCF? Okay. All right. Keep working. All right, do you guys have your two solutions? What are they? X equals 0 and what? -3 or +3? Let's see. When I minus 3x, I added the 5. The 5's canceled out. X squared minus 3x, GCF. Set them equal to 0. X minus 3 equals 0. What do I get? +3. Those of you that worked alone on your own, did you guys get that same answer? Okay, we're good? I want you guys to flip back over to the first page and continue with your graphs.